Vaibhav class. Is my voice audible? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So in the last week, we were discussing that being instructed by Lord Vishnu that he should forgive Indra and show his compassion and affection towards Indra. Prthu Maharaj did exactly the same. So seeing the compassionate, friendly nature of Prthu Maharaj, Lord Vishnu stayed back. He could not leave immediately. And seeing that Lord Vishnu stayed back, Prthu Maharaj begins to offer wonderful prayers unto him. At the same time, of course, Lord also told him, ask for a benediction. So keeping that in mind, now Prthu Maharaj is talking about what is the real blessing that he wants to have. So we discussed first two verses of Prthu Maharaj prayers in the last week. Varan vibhotvat vadardeshwarat Buddha katam vrinite gunavikri atmanam ye narakanam apisanti dehinam tanisha kaivalya pate vrininacha. He says that the people in this material world might come to you asking for the happiness of Swarga, which is even available for those who are there in the Naraka also. But today they are in Naraka, tomorrow they may go to Swarga. It is easily available by performing karma only. Why one need to approach Lord Vishnu for getting the happiness of Swarga? So that is not required. And then he said that though you are Varadeshwara, you can award all the benedictions, but I do not want liberation. Katam vrinite gunavikri atmanat nayanaраkanam apisanti dehinam tanisha kaivalya pate vrininacha. So only people with less intelligence can think of the happiness of Brahman or the happiness of Swarga. But I do not want. But still he is addressing the Lord as Kaivalya Pate. O Lord of Kaivalya, since he is the Lord of Kaivalya, so that he can award Kaivalya whomsoever want. So though you may be known as Kaivalya Pati, but I don't want Kaivalya. So my dear Lord, kindly understand that. Then Lord says that what do you want? If you don't want Kaivalya, then what do you want? Then he says that Nakamaye Nata Tadapi Avaham Kochit Nayatra Yushmat Charanamu Jasava Mahattamanta Hrudayan Mukachito Vidasva Karnayuta Meshame Varan. The Lord says that you don't want Kaivalya, but many people want Kaivalya. Why you don't want? Prthu Maharaj said that actually in Kaivalya there is no nectar of relation Krishna Katha. Nayatra Yushmat Charanamu Jasava. Asava means nectar. There is no the nectar of the glorification of your lotus feet, which is coming out of the mouth of wonderful devotees. Mahattamanter Hrudayan Mukachito, because your lotus feet is always kept intact within the core of the hearts of your great devotees. And when they speak, the nectar of your lotus feet comes out of their mouth. And this is not available in Kaivalya. So I don't want Kaivalya. Then Lord asks, what do you want? He says that Karna Ayutam Eshame Vara. Ayutam means 10,000. Give me thousands of eyes. Sorry, thousands of years. Lord asks why? Since your devotees are discussing your glories at various places, I don't want to miss anything. I want to hear all those things. And Karnayutam also indicates that not only the ears, I want to have thousands of eyes, thousands of tongues, thousands of nostrils, so that I can experience Bhakti simultaneously thousands of places. That is the desire of Prthu Maharaj. That shows his eagerness to serve the Lord and to experience Lord's wonderful glories. So that's where we stopped last week, and from there on we'll continue today. Why do you not desire liberation, which is very rarely achieved even by the great knowers of absolute truth? This idea is expressed by the ironic consumption, Vyajastuti. So Lord says that no, there are many learned scholars always wanting liberation. And you are saying I don't want liberation. And you are giving a silly reason that there is no Krishna Katha there in Saija. So can you elaborate on that? Something like that. So now Prthu Maharaj answers, keeping that in mind, like a Vyajastuti. సౌత్తమశ్లోకమహన్ముఖచ్యుతో భవత్పదాంబోజసత్ సుధాకనానిలా స్మృతిర్పునర్విస్మృతతత్వవర్త్మనాం కుయోగినాం నో వితరతి అలంబరై.
My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entities gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benedictions.
But the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotees. So like a Vajasuti is presenting, he says that Sauttama Shloka Mahan Mukhachuto Bhavat Padamboja Sudha Kanalila Smrutim Punar Vismruta Tattva Vartmanam Kuyoginam no Vitarati Alamvarai. He says that what is the use of other vows, other benedictions? Because by good fortune, if one gets the association of some pure devotees, even a kuyogi, even a fallen yogi, can be reinstated in his transcendental position. Because when they hear Krishna Katha from the mouth of a pure devotee, their remembrance of the Lord's lotus feet will be revived, and then they will taste the nectar of Lord's lotus feet. So, like that. Indirectly says that the greatly intelligent and learned people are like Suyogis. They may want Brahman, but I am a Kuyogi. I don't want Brahman and all. I just want association of your devotees because they continuously speak Krishna Katha, hearing which my memory of tasting your lotus feet long back will be revived. And that is okay for me. I don't want anything more than that. So like that in a Vyajasthuti, he is telling that let the intelligent might take liberation which is given by you, but I just want association of devotees where I can hear Krishna Katha and remember my experience of taste of your lotus feet, something like that. Oh Uttama Shloka, the topics falling from the mouths of great devotees, Mahan Mukhachuto, are even the wind touching a drop of nectar from your lotus feet, Bhavat Pada Amboja Sudha Kanalila. Whether it is the topic spoken by your devotees or the wind touching a drop of nectar from your lotus feet brings remembrance even for the bad yogis who have forgotten the truth you have just taught. Away with all these benedictions, including liberation. What is the use of other benedictions all the way up to liberation? So like that, Prthu Maharaj is like a Vyajasuti is saying this. So Prabhupada elaborates on this principle that what is the importance of taking association of devotees, how it works. Here it is indicated here. Just the breeze touching a particle of the nectar of your lotus feet. What to speak of an actual particle of nectar? See here, like 3 levels of understanding is there. Just the breeze touching a particle of the nectar of your lotus feet. It is actually the breeze which just touched the particle of nectar of your lotus feet. Itself can do this, can rewind the memory of experiencing Lord's lotus feet. Then what to speak of an actual particle of nectar? What to speak of tasting a particle of nectar? Then what to speak of the tasting the nectar itself, huge quantity of nectar? Anything related to the topics of your qualities produces remembrance of your lotus feet. Even breeze itself is enough, which touched the nectar of your lotus feet. Then what to speak of the nectar itself? Small quantity or big quantity, how much memory it can award. So like that.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Prabhuji, in this analogy, the last part I understood that what to speak of the nectar itself, that is, those are the lotus feet of the Lord. And the previous two, like breeze touching the particle of nectar of the lotus feet, how we understand with the hearing part of it, what he was saying, Maharaj.
See here, tasting nectar means hearing about Lord's lotus feet only. If you remember Brahma's prayers in the 9th chapter of the 3rd canto, Tvam Bhakti Yoga Parivavita Russaja,
Yeah.
Aste Shruta Ikshita Pato Nanunat Pumsham. So Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Hrusaroja Aste Shruta Ikshita Pado. Shruta Ikshita Pata. Bhakti is a path called as seeing through the hearing. Shruta, then Ikshana. So you'll be able to see everything by hearing only. That is the path of Bhakti. Here, tasting the nectar of your lotus feet means it may not be literal tasting. It is actually tasting by hearing, by the process of hearing. So in that way. So Lord's lotus feet is there in the heart of a devotee. When the devotee speaks, the sound vibration comes out from the core of the heart. And those sound vibration brings nectar from Lord's lotus feet. When that sound vibration enters into the ears of the hearer, he will experience that nectar. So in that way.
Okay. Yeah.
The wind which carries the sound vibration also carries the nectar of Lord's lotus feet. Like that we have to see.
Okay. I was just thinking whether it is related to like hearing from the pure devotee, reading own self, and then actual Lord, whether we that is
No,
the
no,
kind.
not reading, not reading. It is all talking about hearing only. The previous verse and the current verse are connected together. Because Eshame Karna Ayutam Eshame Vara. He said that I want thousands of years. Now the question is, what do you do with the thousands of years? He said, I will hear. But what is the benefit of hearing? This is the benefit. Hearing about your wonderful lotus feet, the qualities and activities of your personality will give back the memory of my connection with you or any other things. So in that way. You remember there is one verse we discussed about in an NOD. Of course, you are not there in our batch. But this is a famous verse which Prabhupada quotes many of his lectures. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoi. Krishna Prema, the Krishna Prema Nitya Siddha is available for everyone. It is secretly in the heart of the each and every living entity. But Shravana the Shuddha Chitta Karo Udai. When we execute Bhakti, starting with Shravanam, that secretly hidden Krishna Prema will be manifested. So hearing at that potency. So in that way.
Okay, thank you.
It produces remembrance for those who have forgotten the truth. So what kind of truth? I have forgotten just now the truth concerning Paramatma, Atma and body taught by you in verse 9. In verse 9, Lord Vishnu talked about the 9 differences between the body and soul and the soul and super soul. So that's one which he is telling. Showing their natures by similarity and differences. So in that way. So the body and Atma and Paramatma have both similarities and differences. Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. So there is a Beda also, there is Abeda also. Those who want to enter into impersonal Brahman might focus on Abeda Tattva. But the devotees always focus on Beda Tattva. So now he is telling that I want to forget Abeda, I want to remember the Beda. So for that I need to hear again and again from your wonderful devotees. So that is the desire. Thus, since I have forgotten, I am a bad yogi, kuyogi nam. Since I desire to remember the differences rather than forget it, this is the ironic condemnation. So he is talking, he is out of humility saying himself as kuyogi, because though you have just now spoke about the differences and similarities, but I forgot the differences. I want to hear them again and again so that I can remember them. So therefore, I am a Kuyogi and give me the association of your pure devotees. Only that will help me. So in that way, selling. Then he says that enough of benedictions of being struck on the path of forgetting differences between you and the Jiva through Kaivalya. I have no use for other benedictions since I am simply determined to taste your topics only. I just want to taste the topics about your lotus feet. So I don't want any other things, even all the way up to Kaivalya also, which makes me to forget the difference between you and me, the master and servant. So in that way. I am a bad yogi, most fallen. Since I could not become a good yogi on the path practiced, why should I desire Kaivalya? Only intelligent people who are good yogis desire Kaivalya. But I am a bad yogi. I don't have to desire for Kaivalya. So like that, by making himself as a bad yogi, is saying that I'm not qualified for Kaivalya. So you don't have to worry about giving me that Kaivalya. Like that is telling. And how can I desire to attain power and wealth since I am completely satisfied just by tasting the honey of your lotus feet like a bee, which is just an incest. So he's telling that I am satisfied with the nectar of your lotus feet. I don't need the wealth and power of Vaikunta and other places. The wealth and power in this material world also. Going to Swarga means getting more wealth and more power. Going to Brahman means it's kind of a different satisfaction. I don't want all these things. I just want to relish the nectar of your lotus feet. I don't want anything else. Thus, indirectly, the superiority of devotee is indicated by Vyajasuti. If at all you want to give liberation, give it to the good, intelligent yogis. I am a ignorant, so-called yogi. So I am not qualified for all these things. So this is a kind of Vyajasuti. So glorifying something which is not worthy of glorification. Condemning something which is not supposed to be condemned. So like that, that is called Vyajasuti. So therefore, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that for a conditioned soul, it is very important to hear about the Supreme Lord. There is no other way in this material world. That is the only way which can purify our heart, which can help us understand who the Lord is, who we are, what is the sambandha between both of us, and how to come back to what is only possible by hearing. So the two from the mouth of a pure devotee. Hearing from them and gradually understands about the Supreme Lord, Tattvataha. Only when we understand about the Lord Tattvataha, we are qualified to come back to Godhead. So that is the connection between these verses.
Prabhuji, is there any meaning of word Vyaja? Because so many times we are hearing this Vyaja Stuti, but is any specific meaning of the word Vyaja Stuti?
No, Vyajastuti means glorifying something which is not worthy of glorification. So if somebody has no eyes, calling them as Kamal Nayani or Kamal Lochani, something like that. That is glorifying someone who is not worthy of glorification, something like that.
So in this respect, how we understand Prthu Maharaj is thinking he is not worthy, but still he is trying to glorify the Lord. That is why it is called as
No,
Vyaja.
no, no. He is glorifying the intelligent people who aspire Kaivalya. So the intelligent people are qualified for Kaivalya. Please give them Kaivalya. I am a Kuyogi. I am not qualified for Kaivalya. You don't have to give me. You just give me the unwanted nectar of your lotus feet, which is not at all desired by the Suyogis. Something like that. That is Vyajasuti.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So then Lord says, become detached from the taste of my topics and accept liberation desired by the best of yogis. So if you are saying the yogis are best and what they are desiring the best thing, so ask that why you want to settle for less small thing. When there is opportunity, ask the big thing. So why you want to settle for the minimal useless thing? For which Prthu Maharaj replies, Yasha Shivam Sushrava Arya Sangame Yadruchaya Chopashrunoti Te Sakrit Katam Gunagno Virame Dvina Pashum Sriryat Pravavre Guna Sangrayechaya.
My dear highly glorified Lord, if one in the association of pure devotees hears even once the glories of your activities, he does not, unless he is nothing but an animal, give up the association of devotees. For no intelligent person would be so careless as to leave their association. The perfection of chanting and hearing about your glories was accepted even by the goddess of fortune, who desired to hear of your unlimited activities and transcendental glories.
Yeah. Yashash Shiva Sushrava Arya Sangame. Here Pruthu says that in order to oppose that, Pruthu is saying that, O Lord of auspicious fame, what person having heard by chance Edrichaya cha upashrunoti, even by chance if one hears your glories, okay, then what happens? Your auspicious quality just once, Sakrit, your auspicious qualities, Yashash Shivam. Yasha means your wonderful glories. Shiva means auspicious glories. In the association of devotees, Arya Sangame. Whole purport the Prabhupada dedicates to explain the meaning of Arya. So Arya means those who understand the essence of Vedic literatures, those who are spiritually conscious, those who can catch the essence of Vedic literatures and follow accordingly. They are Aryans. So Prabhupada talks about Britishers, Americans, this, that. So many people try to advocate themselves to be Aryans. So many things are there. But ultimately, Arya means those who follow the Shastra, understand Shastra, and implement Shastra. They are called Aryans. So here Arya Sangame means devotees. In the association of devotees, what person who knows your qualities, Katam Gunajna, which even Lakshmi accepts with a desire to completely taste those qualities, gives up that glorification. Even by chance, if a person happens to hear your wonderful qualities by a pure devotee or in the association of Arya Sangam in pure devotees, how can a person can give up your lotus feet? Even Lakshmi always want to hear your glories. Then how much more important is for us, ordinary people? Only an animal would do so. Vina Pashum. Only an animal, after hearing Krishna Katha, give up your lotus feet. So, like that. So, this is now he kind of state till now he was actually indirectly speaking. Now he directly speaking. अभी बहुत हो गया indirectly बोल के अभी ये मेरा point है. If at all one hears your glories, that's all they will be attracted to your lotus feet. They will never ever want to give up. They are ready to give up their life, but not your lotus feet. Only an animal want to give up, not anybody else. So in that way, he's actually saying, O Lord of auspicious fame, how can he who hears your glories by chance, even once, that also not regularly, Sakrit, even once, without special effort, suddenly, and who thus knows your qualities, give them up? Because hearing means understanding. By hearing once, by understanding once, how can a person give up your lotus feet? Except a person who is like animal. The person who gives up that glorification is an animal among the humans. And also implied is he who does not give them up is real human among animals. So, थोड़ा strong words है, but that is the intention. When Even by chance or by intentionally one hears Krishna Katha, the attachment for Lord's lotus feet should awaken. Only in the case of animals, it will not awaken. Of course, Arya Sangame, in the association of devotees. Only devotees talk about Krishna. Okay. So it's like that. So now he is kind of elaborating. The yogis give up the nectar of glorifying the Lord. The karmis by nature have no interest in the Lord's topics because the karmis are interested in dharma, artha, kama and are averse to the topics of the Supreme Lord, who knows how to destroy samsara, who is the killer of Madhu, the most heroic Lord, worthy of praise. So he's telling that the yogis want kaivalya, they are not interested in Lord's glories. The karmis want accomplishment of dharma, artha, kama, they also do not want Lord's glories. So because hearing Lord's glories only can destroy samsara. And especially the karmis are bound by samsara. Because they are only attached to dharma, artha, kama, not to Lord's glories. So in that way. Give these two persons liberation, like feeding oil cake, chaff, and rubbish to animals. But do not give it to humans like me. He is directly saying that. Give these two persons liberation. The yogis who are desiring liberation and the karmis who are desiring material benedictions, please give them the liberation, which is like the dry oil cake. It's like when groundnuts are given to oil mill, after extracting the oil, what remains is oil cake without any oil within that. So it's like that. Brahmananda is like the experience of oil cake or chaff or rubbish. So in that way. Yogis and karmis who give up your topics are proof that liberation and material benefits are greater in taste than your topics. So indirectly telling that according to the yogis and karmis, because they are not interested in hearing about your lotus feet, for them the topics about liberation and material enjoyment seems to be greater. That is the proof. What is the proof that the taste for my topics is greater than the liberation or material enjoyment? So you are telling that please give them the kaivalya because they are interested in that and they are like animals. And don't give me who is a human, the bliss of Brahman or Kaivalyananda. Then Lord says that what is the proof that this is superior than the other enjoyment? For which he establishes the authority. Mother Lakshmi, Lord Brahma, and all other great personalities who are worshipped by the whole universe, endowed with all auspicious qualities, accept your glories on their head with a desire to be able to taste completely. What they want to taste? Your qualities, your form, your taste, that is Mahaprasad, your fragrance, that is garlands and chandan, your sound, hearing your words that you speak, your touch, serving you personally, your pastimes, your charm, and your mercy. That is the proof. The proof is that the personalities like Mother Lakshmi, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other devatas who are worshipped by the people of this world are desiring to hear your wonderful qualities, Nama, Rupa, Gunalila, more and more. That is the proof. So like that, he establishes. There are others also like Sukadeva Goswami, who after tasting the happiness of liberation for a long time, found it trifling and found pleasure in your glories. This is the proof. Even Brahmavadis, Brahmanandis like the four Kumaras and Sukadeva Goswami, when they tasted the nectar of your topics, nectar of your wonderful qualities. They gave up Brahmananda and they became your surrendered devotees. Atma Ramatcha Munaya Nirganta Vyurkrame Kurvanti Aitukam Bhakti Nitam Gota Gunu Hari. So like that. This is the glory of your lotus feet. So I don't want to be like them. I just want this only. The yogis are like the bulls, conditioned to eat grass, who, chewing the sugarcane shoots, find the stalks too tough. If the bull is given sugarcane stick, when it chews first, it thinks that the sugarcane stick is very hard, very difficult to chew it. So they only want grass. They only want to taste the grass. The karmi is like the camel, which gives up mango buds and savors thorns. If there are so many sweet mango buds, but camel does not taste them. Instead, it goes to a thorny bush and it want to taste the thorny fruits or thorny flowers. When they try to chew the thorny taste, thorny fruits and thorny flowers, their tongue and jaws are pierced by the thorns, the blood comes out. And by tasting the blood of their own mouth, the camel thinks that, oh, this fruit is so tasty. And they enjoy more and more blood. I see. So it's like that. So the yogis are like the bulls. They are not interested in tasting the sugarcane juice of the sugarcane stack. They give it up, considering it to be a hard stick, but they only taste the dry grass without any juice. And the karmis, they are like the camel. They want to taste their own hard labor. That is chewing the blood. So what kind of proof is that? Because the happiness of all other items is included in bhakti. It is the compilation of all human goals and all qualities with a desire for the Lord who contains all happiness. Mother Lakshmi accepts your glories. But the personalities like Mother Lakshmi accepts your glories which can fulfill all other desires. So bhakti can fulfill the desires of all other processes. So that establishes the topmost position of bhakti. Bhakti can award Swarga, bhakti can award Apavarga, bhakti can award Krishna Prema, but other process cannot do that. So in that way. But he who tastes Lord's lotus feet will never want Swarga or Apavarga. So that's how our Prthu Maharaj establishes what he wants and why he wants it. He is not trying to settle something lower. He wants the most highest one. So in that way. Any questions? Able to follow?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
अता भजेत्वा किल पुरुषो पुरुषोत्तमम् गुणालयं पद्मकरेव लालसा अपि आवयोर्येकपतिस्पृधो कले न स्यात् कृतत्वाच्चरणैकतानयो.
Now I wish to engage in the service of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to serve just like the goddess of fortune, who carries a lotus flower in her hand. Because His Lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. I am afraid that the goddess of fortune and I would quarrel because both of us would be attentively engaged in the same service.
Yeah, here Prthu Maharaj is stating something interesting. He says that having great desire like Mother Lakshmi, Padma Kara Iva Lalasa. Padma Kara means Mother Lakshmi, whose hands are like the lotus. Padma Kara. With complete purity, I will worship the feet of you. Ata bhaje tva akila purushottamam. Having great desire like Mother Lakshmi with complete purity, I will worship your lotus feet, O Supreme Lord, the abode of all good qualities, Gunalayam. Perhaps there will be a competition between us for one master. Ekapati Sprudho Kali. Kali means quarrel. There may be some quarrel because we both of us want to serve the same master. Just like Mother Lakshmi is serving you, I also want to serve you. This is my desire. Because this is my desire, which is there in the core of my heart. Since I am expressing now, there may be a quarrel between me and Mother Lakshmi. No, but we will both be fully concentrating and serving your lotus feet. There may be a chance of quarrel, but I'll give you assurity that we will not fight. Both of us will only concentrate on your service, not on fighting with each other. Both of us cooperatively serve your lotus feet. That is my desire. In addition to hearing your Krishna Katha in the association of many devotees, this is my second desire. That is, I want to serve you like Mother Lakshmi serves you. So like that. I want only service to you, no other benedictions. I worship you completely without material desires, with pure bhakti. I do not worship the goal of liberation or material benefits as the jnanis or karmis do. Treating bhakti as a secondary issue. So the karmis and jnanis also practice bhakti, but in order to get the fulfillment of their desires, not really to serve the Lord. But I am not like them. I have a pure desire to serve you, not like the here and there. Exactly like Mother Lakshmi. That is my desire to serve you. I worship not even like Narada, but like Lakshmi Devi only. Doing constant service of cleaning, decorating, massaging your feet, fanning and offering betel unto you. I want to serve you like these things unto you, like Mother Lakshmi does for you. So this is my desire. I have a great desire, Lala Saha. One should not worry that King Prthu has Madhurya Bhava, because the next verse explains is Dasya Bhava. So when we hear that I want to serve like Mother Lakshmi, so somebody might ask, if Prthu want to serve the Lord like Madhurya Ras in like a concert, becoming like a concert? No, not like that. But in the next verse, he will explicitly state that he want to serve the Lord in Dasya Bhava only, not in Madhurya Bhava.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hi, yes, ma'am.
Prabhuji, many times we see that this means even gopis offer betel nut, or Radharani offers betel nut or tambul to the Lord. But generally, for the devotees, we say na, that we should not be eating these things. So how we understand this? Like?
Because that betel leaf is not supposed to be eaten by us. Just like we don't take tea, coffee,
Yeah.
the betel leaf is also not supposed to be taken. That's why betel is not offered to the devotees. Even it is offered, we should throw the betel leaf aside and take the inside thing. It is actually not pan, but some dry fruits are there. In the deities, when it is offered every day, they put some dry fruits and then offer it to the Lord. So even it is given to someone in the evening after putting the Lordship resting, so they will not take the leaf. They give it to somebody else, or they'll throw it, and they will take only inside harmless substance.
Okay. Sometimes that gulkand and also is put in that.
I don't know, but here in Chapati, here in our temple, we have only put the dry fruits.
Okay. So there is no
Kishmish.
bitter. There's no supari. There's no supari particles in it.
They put one wafer of supari, not much, one small wafer. Like when pencil, we scrap the pencil, we get small layers. So like that, a small 1 or 2 wafer will be there of supari.
So we can offer it to the Lord, but we are not supposed to take it, right?
I mean, in the temple it is offered, but not in our homes. In our homes, we don't want to offer.
Okay. Okay, sir.
In the temple we offer because, as you just mentioned, that gopis are always serving Lord Krishna. We are actually serving Lord Krishna on behalf of our spiritual master. He is serving on behalf of his spiritual master. Like that, it goes all the way up to gopis and Srimad Radharani. So in that mode, it is offered, but not supposed to be tasted by devotees. That one thing should be kept aside.
Okay. Okay, Brahma. Thank you.
He thinks of Lakshmi as a mother, the central pole of the entire universe. He compares himself to Lakshmi with the word Iva, like Mother Lakshmi. Kamala Kara Iva, in that way, suggesting he can take a portion of the service. For Lakshmi is most famous for her service to Lord's lotus feet. Massaging Lord's lotus feet is the famous service of Mother Lakshmi. That service our Prthu Maharaj wants, not all other services. So in that way we have to understand. As the foremost devotee, he expresses Veera Bhakti, desire for competition in relation to Mother Lakshmi. So you want to compete with Mother Lakshmi. This is a sign of a Veera Bhakta. He wonders if he quarreled with Mother Lakshmi while performing Bhakti, just as he quarreled with Indra while doing karma. So he wanted to perform 100, Indra already performed 100, Indra and he, both of them in kind of competition. I want to have the record 100, I want to have the record of 100. So will he also quarrel with Lakshmi that I want to serve the Lord more than you, something like that? He asks, will there be some competition between us for serving one master, my dear Lord? Because since I am asking the service of Mother Lakshmi, will there be some competition with Mother Lakshmi in serving you? By proper method, there will be no conflict. We will both be constantly engaged in one object, serving his lotus feet. We will not compete who will do best. Instead, we will only focus on our service. So I'll give you assurance that we will not compete with each other. So like that, Prthu Maharaj is actually giving a assurance to Mother Lord Vishnu. So thus, this verse describes Pruthu's Veera Bhakti, which is defined in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as the devotee who takes shelter of Lord Krishna and has incomparable attraction for Krishna, though he does not notice others. He calls a Veera Parishada or Veera Anuga. So Veera Bhakta means, so the Veera Bhakta says that no, I'm not worried about other things. I only worried about my seva and the Supreme Lord. So that is the kind of nature of Veera Bhakta. He is so focused on his service, he is not worried about other things. So in that way. So basically, he's expressing his desire. I want to have the association of devotees where I can hear about your lotus feet so that I can be remembered. I can remember the distinction between you and me, like a master and servant. And also, I want to have the opportunity that Mother Lakshmi has, serving your lotus feet. That shows his Veera Bhakta nature. So now he clarifies what exactly you want and why he wants it. Jagad Jananyam Jagadisha Vaisasam Syade Vayatkarmani na Samihitam Karosi Palgau Apivurudi Navastala Swaye Vadishne Abhiratasya Kimtaya.
My dear Lord of the universe, the goddess of fortune Lakshmi is the mother of the universe, and yet I think that she may be angry with me because of my intruding upon her service and acting on that very platform to which she is so much attached. Yet I am hopeful that even though there is some misunderstanding, you will take my part, for you are very much inclined to the poor, and you always magnify even insignificant service unto you. Therefore, even though she becomes angry, I think that there is no harm for you because you are so self sufficient that you can do without her.
Yeah, here he says many other things also. Just to get his service, he gives so many other options, so many other excuses so that service can be given in that way. O Jagadisha, O Lord of the universe, the mother of the universe, Jagat Jananyam, may become angry. No problem. That I desire her service. Since I am asking you to give me the service that Mother Lakshmi renders unto you, so hearing which Mother Lakshmi may become angry. Let she be angry. She is my mother. No problem. Affectionate to the miserable, you make great those who are small. My dear Lord, you are actually Dina Vastala. You always look favorably to your wonderful devotees. Class lo ఉన్నాను. Class lo ఉన్నాను. 8:30 class. So you make great those who are small. What use do I have for her, since I have your power behind me? So when there are two people, one is powerful, one is powerless, I know that, my dear Lord, you always take the side of powerless, because I have seen it personally. Previously, when there was a conflict between Indra and me, you took my side only, since I am powerless compared to Indra. Similarly, if there is a conflict between me and Mother Lakshmi, I have complete faith that you will take my side only. So I don't have to worry. Even though if Mother Lakshmi becomes angry, I don't have to worry, because I have the assurance that you will take my side, because you take care of your devotees more than Lakshmi. So that this is what Prabhupada states in the previous purport only. Prabhupada talks about this very nicely in the previous purport. Since Lord is the ocean of all good qualities, Gunalayam, and because of that, he is always inclined to his devotees. So in that way. And some more points which Prabhupada mentioned in the previous purport will come here. There may be some conflict with Mother Lakshmi, who is also my mother, since I reside within the universe. Why? I have a desire for her service. O Lord, since you are the father, Aham Bija Pradapita, and Mother Lakshmi, the mother of all of us who are living in the universe. So she may be angry with me because I am asking for her service. Because I desire her service. Let her sit on the chest. I am the son. I will do all service to your lotus feet. Is she so stubborn that she cannot live without you that service? She is mother and your father. Why she has to do all the menial services of massaging your feet and all? She can happily sit on your lotus feet. Sorry, she can happily sit on your lotus chest. I can sit next to your feet and massage your feet. That is a small service, like good for small person like me. So will she be so stubborn that she want to continue the service of massaging lotus feet only? She has many other sevas. Can't she give it up? So, but Lord says that, but you are a novice. She is experienced. You are low and she is exalted. Why do you compete with her? You are a new fight. You don't know how to do it. You are innocent. You are very low. She is exalted. She is expert. Why you want to compete with her? Knowingly, why you want to compete with her? Then Prthu says, it is true that I am novice and she is experienced. I am low, she is exalted. But just as you took my side in the quarrel with Indra, you should favor me in this case as well. You make an insignificant person like me very great, because you are affectionate to low creatures like me. Because you are Dina Vasala, even though Mother Lakshmi is so great, but you can make a low creature like me as great as Mother Lakshmi also. Are you not afraid of her anger? Then Prthu says, I do not fear her anger, since I possess your power. This is the mentality of Veera Bhakta. I am not worried about her anger, because I possess your power. Your power. Why should I worry about her? My strength is your great mercy. I can compete with her with the strength that I receive by your causeless mercy, because you are Dina Vasala. So in that way, Prthu Maharaj kind of establishes why you want And why Lord should give it? And why Mother Lakshmi should give it to Prthu also? Not compete with Prthu, but instead she should do all other services. This one service of massaging Lord's lotus feet should be given to Prthu Maharaj. So this is the competition between two exalted personalities that they want to serve the Lord in that way. So Prabhupada says that the Lord is so great that he will accept our insignificant servant and make us significant. If you take one small step towards the Lord, Lord will take big, like Vamana step towards us, not Vamana, Trivikrama step towards us. So that is the mercy of the Lord towards his wonderful devotees. So this is how he establishes his desire in front of Lord Vishnu. Then he further continues. Bhajanta tatvam atayeva sadavo युधस्तमया गुणविभ्रमोदयम् भवत्पदानुस्मरणादृते सताम् निमित्तमन्यद् भगवन्न विद्महे.
Great saintly persons who are always liberated take to your devotional service, because only by devotional service can one be relieved from the illusion of material existence. O my Lord, there is no reason for the liberated souls to take shelter at your lotus feet, except that such souls are constantly thinking of your feet.
Yeah. Here he further states that the devotees worship you. Bhajanti atatvam atayeva sadhavo. The sadhus are always engaged in your bhajan. Who destroy the abundant illusion? Because only you can destroy the abundant illusion arising from the gunas of Maya. Maya guna udayam. The illusion is due to three modes of material nature. For the devotees, I do not know any result from worshipping you except remembrance of your lotus feet. Bhavat pada anusmarana dhrute. The result of serving your lotus feet is remembrance of your lotus feet. Other than this, I can't think of anything else. I can't remember anything else. The devatas worship you so that they can be freed from the influence of the three modes of material nature. But devotees worship you not for the freedom from three modes of material nature, but to gain the remembrance of your lotus feet. So this is how he is comparing the devotees with is actually describing the superlative potency of the devotees. Not only me, but all of your devotees request this benediction of service. Devotees only want service opportunity onto your lotus feet because you are affectionate to the low and fallen, and they worship you who destroy the illusion of Maya's gunas, from which desire for benedictions arise. It says that it is only being influenced by the three modes of material nature, there is a desire for so many material benedictions. But when devotees serve your lotus feet, they will not be influenced by three modes of material nature, and hence there will be no material desires. And even and when they serve your lotus feet, they will never anticipate some material benedictions. The only one and only one anticipation the devotees will have is remembrance of your lotus feet. Bhavat pada anusmaranad rute. Except but this, nothing else the real devotees want from you. The nature of worshipping you is that the desire for material benedictions disappear. By worshipping Lord's lotus feet, this one thing should happen. The material desires for benediction should disappear. Then there will be only one desire. That is Ananya Chintayanto Mam Yejana Parivipasite. Tesham Nitya Abhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamiham. That is only Ananya. No other desire, but only one desire. That is to remembrance of your lotus feet and service to your lotus feet. So in that way. So then what is the result of worship? The result is remembering your feet. Since the supreme happiness derived from your feet derides all other happiness. Though this material world can offer so many variety of happinesses, but tasting the happiness of remembering your lotus feet will wipe away all desires of other happinesses. So such a devotee never wants any other material benedictions or never have any material desires for material benedictions. This is the greatness of serving your lotus feet. So somebody might ask, why are you competing with Mother Lakshmi just to serve the lotus feet of Mother Lord Vishnu? Serving the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu will remove Maya's influence, by which all the material desires will be gone away. Then one may say, why you want serve them? If this is the only you want to forget something, is it required to serve the Lord's lotus feet? No, no. Forgetting material desires also happens by the way. Remembrance of your lotus feet will manifest continuously. That is the real blessing of serving your lotus feet. So like that, Prthu Maharaj is establishing what he wants and why he wants. So in that way. So otherwise, as long as one is affected by three modes of material nature, one will continue to stay in this material world, life after life, species after species. Only by serving the Lord, one can be freed from the influence of material nature. Mamive prapadante mayam yatam tarantite. Then one will have the remembrance of Lord's lotus feet continuously. Otherwise, it is not possible. So that's how Prthu Maharaj is establishing why he want service to Lord's lotus feet. So in that. मन्ने गिरं ते जगतां विमोहिनीं वरं वृणीष्वेति भजन्तमात्तयत् वाचानुतन्या वाचानुतन्त्या यदि ते जनोसिता कथं पुनः कर्म करोति मोहिता.
My dear Lord, what you have said to your unalloyed devotee is certainly very much bewildering. The allurements you offer in the Vedas are certainly not suitable for pure devotees. People in general, bound by the sweet words of the Vedas, engage themselves again and again in fruitive activities, enamored by the results of their actions.
I think that your words, please choose a benediction, Varam Vrinesha Iti, are bewildering to the world. Unless a person is not bound by your words, how can he continue to do such actions repeatedly under illusion? So here there is one interesting thing is there, because the desire to go to Swarga, desire to go to Aparga, it is clearly indicated in Vedic literatures, which are your instructions. So following Vedic literatures, if one develops a desire to go to Swarga, desire to go to Brahman, it is your instruction only. But Prthu Maharaj says that no problem. Even though it is Lord's instruction, but only those people who are bewildered by Maya's three modes will hanker for Swarga or Apavarga. So like that is stating that only the devotees who are not disturbed with three modes of material nature will hanker for service to your lotus feet in that way. Then why do you ask my devotees to request benedictions? Sorry. Then why do I ask my devotees to request benedictions? If an immature devotee asks for some material benediction, out of strong greed, he will be destroyed since he is cheated of Bhakti Rasa. So, my dear Lord, you are encouraging them to ask benedictions. And when they ask you some benedictions, when you fulfill their benedictions, you are actually cheating them of experience of Bhakti Rasa. Because they will be satisfied with the material blessings. They will never hanker for spiritual Bhakti Rasa. That's how you are cheating them. Typical words of the Vedas, the general words of the Vedas bewilder the world by promising elevation to Pitraloka, by performing prescribed duties, or elevation to Swargaloka by performing our sacrifice. Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipashita. Vedavad arthapartha na anyat astiti vadina. Kamatmana swargapara janma karma falaprada kriya vishesha baulam Bhogaishwarya Gatin Prati. So people in general might be attracted by that kind of glory words of the Vedas which talk about going to Swarga Idalnal. They may perform prescribed duties or sacrifices to go to Pitraloka or Swargaloka. So what can be done? Because the Vedas are also your words. Unless a person is bound by your words, how can he continue to do such acts? Being bewildered by the results again and again. Because they are bound, they have complete firm faith in the scriptures, which are your words, which are your instructions, and they are doing it. By the way, they are bound by it. By following your words, the instructions of your word, they are bound in this material world again and again, not once. So don't tempt me with the benedictions. Shastra tells about do this, do that, by which you can go to Pitraloka, Sargaloka, or Apavarga. And you yourself are offering so many benedictions and trying to tempt me. Both Shastra and you actually misleading me. I don't know what is good for me. You only decide what is good for me and give me that. Next verse.
Hare
Having
Krishna.
stated all these things, he will say in the next verse that I don't, as a kind father, understanding what is good for one's own son, you please give me. Don't ask me to ask for a benediction, and also don't tell me to follow that so-called Vedic literatures. Because the general words of the Vedas promote going to Sarga, going to Apavarga in that way. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, in the purport of this verse, it is said that those who are engaged in karma kanda and jnana kanda are doomed, in the sense that everyone is doomed who is entrapped by this material body, whether it is body of demigod, king, lower animal, or whatever. The suffering of the threefold miseries of material nature are the same for all. So, how we understand this means this was I didn't understand that sufferings are there for all. Yes, that much I can understand, but they are same for all. Means like those who are in the upper planetary system, demigods, or even the higher planetary system, they have a lot of like they have much more healthier bodies than over here. They have long lifespan, as we know the time duration of their lifespan also. They have more facilities for enjoyment at the material level.
No, it's
So
not
how
about all these things. See, there may be so much enjoyment in this material world, but here Prthu Maharaj is speaking like a Veera Bhakta. For him, everything else is useless except service to Lord's lotus feet. He is actually denying Kaivalya. Even is comparing Kaivalya with which is desired by animals. Then what to speak of Swarga happiness and other planetary happiness and the happiness in the Bhuloka also. See,
Prabhuji, I'm not
don't go
talking.
literally. If the understanding here is when you want to highlight something, you need to show other things as low. That is always there. Everywhere in the scriptures, it is there. So in that way, from the point of view of not tasting the happiness of serving Lord's lotus feet, even the happiness of Brahman, the happiness of Brahmaloka or Swargaloka or Pitraloka or Bhuloka, they are all good for nothing. That's why you remember, even the Jnanis and Yogis who are aspiring for a Brahmananda, they are compared to the bulls. The bulls are only interested in dry cakes. They don't want to taste the sugarcane juice by chewing the sugarcane stick. They think sugarcane stick is very tough to chew. And the karmis are compared to camel, who by tasting their own blade think that they are experiencing the fruit, the taste of the fruit. So like that. From
So in
general
that,
point of view, there is happiness everywhere. But from the comparative point of view of this, because Prthu Maharaj is a Veera Bhakta. So he can say like that. So in that.
okay, so the sufferings are same for everyone. It should be taken in the sense that they don't understand, they will never taste the sweetness of your devotional service. So in that sense,
Yes.
your sufferings are same.
Here there is no gray shade, only black and white. Tasting, serving Lord is white, not serving Lord is black. So, but in general, there are so many gray shades, but he is treating all of them as black only, even all the way up to entering to Brahman also black only. He only has two digits, 0 or 1. That's all. So from that point of view, you have to see.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And finally, he says this thing. So you don't tempt me offering me benedictions because your scriptures already enough, they have done enough damage by offering Swarga, Pitruloka, and Moksha, all these things. And more than that, you are also creating so much damage. I don't want to ask anything. It is better you only give me what is good for me. You evaluate and what is good for me and give me that. So like that he says at the end. Tvanmayayadda janaisha kandito yadanyadaशास्तरतात्मनो बुधा यथाचरेद् बालहितं पिता स्वयं तथा त्वमेवार्हसि न समीहुतम्.
My Lord, due to your illusory energy, all living beings in this material world have forgotten their real constitutional position. And out of ignorance, they are always desirous of material happiness in the form of society, friendship, and love. Therefore, please do not ask me to take some material benefits from you. But as a father, not waiting for the son's demand, does everything for the benefit of the son. Please bestow upon me whatever you think is best for me.
Yeah. So this is like the final words of Prthu Maharaj. O Lord, since foolish people injured by your Maya desire things other than worshipping you, Anyad Ashasta Rita Atmano. Foolish people means Abudha Jana, the less intelligent people, being bewildered by the words of the Vedas which promote Dharmartha Kama Moksha. The karmis after Dharmartha Kama and Jnanis and Yogis are after Moksha. And you yourself sometimes offer the benedictions. By these two things, the foolish people are injured by your Maya. They are put into bewilderment because they desire things other than service to your lotus feet. Therefore, you should choose without asking us what is good for us, what is for our benefit, just as a father acts for the benefit of his son. Tatatvameva arhasi na samihitum. Kindly you evaluate what is good for us. Just like yata charet bala hitam pita swayam. Just like father himself considers what is good for the son and provides everything. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that an obedient son always knows that his father knew what is best for him. Always depends on the father. And father always eager to provide what is good for the child. There is a mutual exchange of love between the father and obedient father and obedient son and affectionate father. So with that example, Prthu Maharaj is saying that, so both ho gaya, your scriptures are tempting us and you are also tempting us. Enough is enough. You give us what is benefit to us like a father. So therefore do not test your devotee with greed by offering him all benedictions. Since all people desire something other than the proper thing, your worship, you should do what you think is good for us. Other than the proper thing, what is the proper thing which a devotee should desire? That is worship of the Lord's lotus feet. So if you tempt us, they will not ask for your worship. They may ask for something else. Therefore, don't tempt them. Instead, you should do what you think is good for us. Instead of asking us, ask for a benediction. As a kind father, you yourself should award us whatever is good for us. So like that. Just as the father knows what is beneficial or harmful for his son, when he should study or when he should play, do what is best according to your opinion. After considering if giving benedictions is beneficial or harmful for me. If you think giving benedictions is good for me, then give. If you think not giving benedictions is good for me, don't give. You don't have to ask me. As a kind father, accept me as a kind father because I accepted Mother Lakshmi as my mother. Jagat Jananyam Jagadisha Vaishasam. So you are my father. Do your duty as a father. Don't tempt me by giving me some benedictions. So in that way. You do not have to ask me for my approval again. This shows Prthu's trust in the Lord. Like a obedient son who has complete faith in the father. So Prthu had complete faith in the Lord. And he said, my dear Lord, you do what is best for me. You don't have to ask me. So like that. So this is how Prthu Maharaj offered his wonderful prayers, establishing the superior position of devotees, the superior position of service unto Lord's lotus feet. And like a Veera Bhakta, it said that I am not worried even if Mother Lakshmi becomes angry. And he compares the Jnanis with the bulls and the Karmis with the camel. And he compares the Vedas and Lord's blessings are tempting things. This shows the nature of a Veera Bhakta, chivalrous devotee. So Prthu Maharaj is an example of that. So in that way. Any questions? Hare Krishna till now?
No, Prabhuji, thank you.
So in the purport, Prabhupada quotes Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmaneshwari Bhavatat Bhakti Rahetu Kitvai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says life after life, I only want service unto your Lord, nothing else. So that is the mood of Veera Bhakta. So now, how did the Lord responded unto the request of Prthu Maharaj? Maitreya Uvacha Iti Adiraje Nanutas Vishwadruk Tamaharajanmai Bhakti Rastute Dishte Drishidirmaite Kritayaya Maya Madiyam Taratisma Duschajam.
The great sage Maitreya continued by saying that the Lord, the seer of the universe, after hearing Prithu Maharaj's prayer, addressed the king. My dear king, you may always be blessed by engaging in my devotional service. Only by such purity of purpose you can yourself very intelligently express can one cross over the insurmountable illusory energy of Maya.
Yeah. Here the Lord replies, after being praised by Prthu in this way, the Lord, seer of the whole universe, Savishwadrup, spoke, O king, may you have bhakti unto me, Mai bhakti rastute. Let there be bhakti unto me. Let there be remembrance of my lotus feet in your heart continuously. Be good fortune. By good fortune, you have placed me in your fine intelligence. This kind of understanding people generally do not have. That they don't want anything else except the remembrance of your lotus feet. So somehow by good fortune, you have placed my lotus feet in your fine intelligence, idrishi diya, by which one can cross my insurmountable maya. Yaya, by that, taranti asma, one can cross over this. What is that? Madiyam mayam dustujam. Unconquerable maya one can conquer. Only by remembering the Lord in one's purified intelligence continuously. Mayarpita manobuddhir mame veshasi asamshayam. So this Lord Krishna speaks in 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Mayarpita manobuddhir, offering your mind and intelligence unto me, executing your duties. Mam eveshasi asamshayam. You will come to me without fail. So that is important. So offering one's own mind and intelligence unto the service of Supreme Lord is the most important thing. That is the Smaranatmika Bhakti. That is the topmost status of Bhakti. Otherwise, mind keeps wandering here and there. Chanting to 16 rounds is like a big battle every day. So it's like that. Only when the mind and intelligence completely becomes attracted to Lord's lotus feet, Lord's Nama Rupa Gunalila, then one can easily cross over the Maya. That is what is indicated by Lord here. The Lord speaks. What is most beneficial for the jivas? One should not put faith in jnana, yoga, or other such processes as karmas and other things proposed by the knowers of the Veda, even though they are learned, since they are ignorant concerning the Lord. Even though the scriptures are talking about dharma, artha, kama, moksha, which are practiced by the karmis, jnanis, yogis, and all others, but one should not put faith in them. Here the Lord concludes that bhakti and nothing else is the beneficial thing. Bhakti is the real beneficial thing other than other things. So in that way, bhakti means offering one's mind and intelligence unto Supreme Lord. Manmana va madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaisha satyamte pradijane priyasmi. And what was the 9th chapter verse? Manmana va madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishasi yuktaivam atmanam matparayanam. So atmanam matparayanam. One should make oneself as the service of the Lord. Atmanam matparayanam. So service of the Supreme Lord one should consider as one's own self. How? By offering one's mind, manmana, bhava by becoming Lord's devotee, madhyaji, worshipping the Lord, and mam namaskuru, offering obeisance unto the Lord. So this is what bhakti is all about. So currently we may be offering our time, our energy, our words, some of our actions in the service of Supreme Lord. Ultimately, the day when we offer our mind and intelligence completely unto the Lord, then we are in a position to overcome Maya. When will that day come? Like that Prabhuji is asking here. So whenever that comes, then only we can overcome the influence of Maya. So that's what the Lord indicates here. This is the result. I mean, this is the benefit. Somehow or other, this is not possible for generally everyone, but somehow or other, my dear Prthu, you have obtained it. Let there be good fortune unto you. So in that way. Thus, a devotee should always engage in the service of Supreme Lord. That is the real occupation, as Prabhupada says in the purport. Tattvam kuru adishtam apramatta prajapate madadesha karo loka sarvatrapnoti shobhanam. Then Lord Vishnu further says, yeah, please read someone.
My dear King, O protector of the citizens, henceforward be very careful to execute my orders and not be misled by anything. Anyone who lives in that way, simply carrying out my orders faithfully, will always find good fortune all over the world.
O protector of the population, Prajapate, the master of the population, with great attention, Apramatta, do as I have instructed. Tvam kuru maya adishtam. Do as I. Whatever instructions Lord spoke in the beginning of the chapter. So, persons who follow my instructions, mad adesha karo loka, attain the highest benefit under all conditions. Sarvatra apnoti shobhanam. They attain highest benefit in all conditions. Those who follow the instructions of the Supreme Lord, which Lord spoke in the beginning of this chapter. So it's like that. So that's what Lord spoke. Here Prabhupada says that the sum and substance of religious life is to execute the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one does so is perfectly religious. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Man Namaskuru. These two slokas are the final instructions of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So those who follow these two slokas, they will attain the highest benefit under all conditions. Sarvatra apnoti shobhanam. So in that way. For one who executes the order of Supreme Lord, however, there is only good fortune throughout the world. So that's how the Supreme Lord stopped his speech and getting ready to go back to his own abode. So, so in that way. Any questions?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. So we'll take 2 minutes break, then we will continue.
Prabhuji, just
Correction.
one small thing before we break. Like here, Lord is saying that following my, execute my orders and do not be misled by anything else. So my orders refers to the orders referring to the devotional service, right? Not the orders of the Vedas, because Vedas will have everything.
No, the orders which Lord mentioned in the beginning of this chapter. Of course, devotional service only. Especially for Prthu Maharaj, taking care of all the people, providing them good facilities so that they can practice bhakti. So accordingly.
Okay, yeah, whatever specific instructions were given to Prabhu. Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Correction. So Prabhupada quotes these two verses from Bhagavad Gita. These are for a general, for everyone. 1865 and 66. So following them in that way.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, devotees are there?
Hare Krishna, yes, Guruji.
Yeah. So I will continue. Maitreya Uvacha Iti Vainyasya Rajarshe Pratinandyartavadvacha Pujito Nugruhitvainam Ghantum Chakre Chutomatim.
The great saint Maitreya told Vidur, the Supreme Personality of Godhead amply appreciated the meaningful prayers of Maharaj Prthu. Thus, after being properly worshipped by the king, the Lord blessed him and decided to depart.
Yeah. Here Maitreya is saying that accepting the meaningful words of Prthu, a sage among kings, Rajarshi, and being worshipped by him, after showing favor to King Prthu, the Lord decided to leave. Achyuta Gantum Matim Chakre. So now, after completing purpose of his coming here, Lord decided to return to his Vaikuntha abode. So just like Lord came here and did something and went back. Similarly, Lord's devotees also come here, do something and go back. Neither the Lord nor the devotees of the Lord, they do not have any desire in the material world or material benedictions or material opulences or material enjoyment. Even though they may stay here, like Lord appears again and again in many avatars, Lord's devotees also appear again and again. Both of them are not interested in any of the material position, fame, name, joy, happiness, etc. They simply come to spread bhakti and do the needful, and they return back without any attachment to this material world. So this is the purpose of Lord's taking birth. The purpose of Lord's taking birth is to establish devotional service, which is the perfect system of religion. And the purpose of the birth of a devotee is to broadcast the system, same system of religion or the bhakti cult all over the world. Prthu Maharaj was an incarnation of the Supreme Lord to spread bhakti cult, and the Lord blessed him to remain fixed in this position. Thus, when the king refused to accept any material benediction, the Lord appreciated that refusal very much. So devotees have not come here to settle there. They come here to spread the mission of the Supreme Lord. Lord comes here to start the mission. The devotees come here to spread the mission. They are not interested in uh, no, they are not interested in getting something or achieving something in this material world. So in that way. Devarshi Pitru Gandharva Siddha Charana Pannaga Kinnarapsaraso Martya Kaga Bhutane Nekasha Yagneshwaradi Aragna Vagvitti Janjali Bhaktita Sabhajita Yayau Sarve Vaikuntanugastata.
King Prthu worshipped the demigods, the great sages, the inhabitants of Pitraloka, the inhabitants of Gandharvaloka, and those of Siddhaloka, Charanaloka, Pannagaloka, Kinnaraloka, Apsaraloka, the earthly planets and the planets of the birds. He also worshipped many other living entities who presented themselves in the sacrificial arena. With folded hands, he worshipped all these, as well as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the personal associates of the Lord, by offering sweet words and as much wealth as possible. After this function, they all went back to their respective abodes, following in the footsteps of Lord Vishnu.
Yeah. This verse says that when Lord Vishnu came, all the people came. So when Lord Vishnu is about to leave, everyone is about to leave. But before they could leave, Prthu Maharaj respected them and offered them gifts according to what they deserve in that way. With devotion, King Prthu worshipped the Devatas, Pitrus, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Charanas, Nagas, Kinnaras, Apsaras, human beings, birds, and many other living entities. by folding his hands, by his words, and by wealth. For some, he offered namaskar, folding his hands. By some, he spoke words of acknowledgement, words of gratitude. And for some, he gave wealth in charity. Anyway, for Devatas, he cannot give in charity. He only expressed thanks. For the human beings who came surrounding places, for them he might have given wealth. Thinking of them as the representative of the Lord of sacrifice. Agneshwara Diya, Adityo Bhava. So in that way, obedient to the Lord, they all left that place after receiving the acknowledgement or reception and the gifts from Prthu Maharaj. Following the Lord, they also left. First Lord left, then receiving the words of gratitude and some token of gifts, they also left from that place. So in that way, almost everyone left from that place. The entire place became free of all the guests. Whichever guests came, they all went back to their respective places. So Prabhupada makes one point here that the followers of Vedic wisdom are fully aware of various planets inhabited by varieties of living entities such as the Devatas, the Sages, Pitrus, Gandharvas, Pannagas, Kinnaras, Charanas, and Siddhas, and the Apsaras. The Vedic literatures give information that in all abodes, not only within this material sky, but also in the spiritual sky, there are varieties of living entities. Although the living entities are of one spiritual nature, in quality, the same as Supreme Lord, but they have varieties of bodies due to embodiment of the spirit soul by the 8 material elements, earth, water, always, all the way up to false ego. In the spiritual world, however, there is no such distinction between the body and the embodied. In the material world, distinctive features are manifest in different types of bodies in the various planets. But in the spiritual world, they only have their transcendental body. There will be no material body. The forms in the spiritual world are all spiritual. In the material world, our forms are material. Atma is spiritual, form is material.
Every form is different.
Different in the sense, okay, they are unique, but they are all completely spiritual forms. Of course, there is also variety. Variety is there.
Variety in the sense you are saying, Prabhuji, means in spiritual sky also there will be some may be in the body of a bird or body of an animal or body like a human being or demigod.
No, no.
That
Kindly follow the line. In the spiritual world, however, there is no such distinction between the body and the embodied. There is no distinction between the body and the soul.
Yeah.
In the material world, there is a distinction. Yeah, in the spiritual world, there is variety. That's what we studied, na? In the 15th chapter, 3rd canto, we studied, na? Punna, Ganaga, Bakulambula, Parijata, all the different flower-bearing plants are there, different insects were there. So everything is there. There also variety is there. But there is no distinction between the material body and the spiritual soul. Everything is same. So in that way.
Prabhuji, and sorry, Mataji, you continue then I'll ask.
Yeah, okay. So everything is conscious in the spiritual world, like even the flowers.
Ah, yes. Chintamani Prakara Sadmashu
Yes.
Kalpa Ruksha.
And the body which appears is not different from the soul. It's like that, is it?
Ah, yes, yes. The body is eternal in the sense. See, for example, even in the within the material world also, our body within a short span of time goes through 6 changes. It takes birth, grows, gives byproducts, stays for a while, dwindles and vanishes one day.
Mm.
If you go to the upper planets like heavenly planets and all, they remain youthful for the entire tenure of their life. They don't have such things as growing slowly and dwindling. Such kind of things we don't see. Getting diseased and all won't be there in the heavenly planets. They take birth within a muhurta. They become youthful 16 years old within another muhurta. Their entire growth will happen within one muhurta only. And afterward they remain youthful till the last moment of their life. At the end of their lifespan is over, in the heaven, they'll be thrown out of the heaven. That's all. So within the material world only we see, I mean, there is a Oh, in one sense, we see that the body also like apparently seems to be eternal and always useful, remains useful in that sense. The spiritual world you cannot imagine also. So in that way.
One muhurta is 48 minutes, Prabhuji, or 24.
Ah, yes, 48 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Kissing a bit more. Ah, yes, Mataji.
So it will be as per the rasa they want with the Lord, that type of form they will have in spiritual world.
Ah, that is there. Yaddiya tavuruga vibhavanti tattatvaku
Yeah,
pranayase tadanugraha.
Yeah.
Whatever way one want to serve the Lord will provide that kind of form. Accordingly, they will serve the Lord. So in that way.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, this planet of birds is mentioned here. So can you please explain about it? Because I've never heard like planet of birds, where it is in
No,
material.
Prabhupada, I think Prabhupada mentioned just as a matter of fact, like Gandharva's planet, this planet, that planet, like the birds planet also like mentioned. It's not like birds. We discussed in the third canto, chapter 6. The human beings are associated with all other plants and animals because we need their association for our sustenance. Without them, we cannot survive here. So most of the all different variety of species are there in the Bhuloka only. Even in Swargaloka, in Vaikunta also other species are there, but majority will be in Bhuloka because human being sustenance depends upon all these different variety of plants, birds and animals. So in that way. So our planet is also the planet of the birds and bees.
Okay, I thought there's some planet where only birds reside. There.
And no, not like that.
Okay.
Our place only. Yeah. Prabhupada is using that because things are in kind of for everything is putting the planet like that birds planet also mentioned. So in that way. Bhagavan api rajarshe sopadhyayasya chachuta haran iva mano mushya swadhama pratyapadyata.
The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead, having captivated the minds of the king and the priests who were present, returned to his abode in the spiritual sky.
Yeah. So Lord's journey is explained here. The Lord who had captured the minds of Prthu and the other teachers, Rajarshesa Upadhyayasya, also left for his abode. All other devatas returned. Similarly, the Supreme Lord also returned to the spiritual world. So that is indicated here. Adrishtaya namaskritya nrupa sandarshitatmane avyktaya cha devanam devaya sa swapuram yayau.
King Prthu then offered his respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Lord of all demigods. Although not an object of material vision, the Lord revealed himself to the sight of Maharaj Prthu. After offering obeisances to the Lord, the king returned to his home.
Offering respects to the Lord of the Devatas, Devanam Devaya. What is that? Lord Krishna, Devadi Deva. What is that? Hindi Krishna book, what it is title? Krishna, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, we say in English. So Devadi Deva, like that they say Krishna book title in our vernacular language, Marathi, Hindi. So like that. Here Devanam Devaya, the Lord of the Devatas. Yeah. So offering respect to the Supreme Lord, the Lord of the Devatas, who is not visible to the material eyes, Adrushtaya. From the material person's point of view, the Lord is Adrushta. He cannot be seen. But who was visible to others, Avyaktaya. Who was invisible to others. For others, he is Avyakta. But still visible to Prthu. Nrupa Sandarshit Atmane. The king returned to his house. Swapuram Yayav. Basically, when the Lord appeared there and spoke to Prthu and heard his prayers and offered him benediction, then he was returning. Prthu could see the Lord till the last point as he was traveling in the sky. But for people in general, he is Adrushta or he is Avyakta. But for personalities like Prthu, he becomes Sandarshitatmane. For devotees, the Lord becomes visible. For non-devotees, he remains invisible. Thus, Prabhupada writes, the Supreme Lord is not visible to material eyes, but when the material senses are inclined to the transcendental loving service of the Lord and are thus purified, the Lord reveals himself to the vision of the devotees. The Lord reveals himself to the vision of the devotees, although he is not visible to ordinary eyes. Sandarshitatmane. So, this is the greatness of the Supreme Lord. In Nectar of Devotion, one verse was spoken again and again. Atas Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grayam indriya. With material eyes, the Supreme Lord is not perceivable. But Tevo nuke jivadav supayameva spuratiyada. When the senses are engaged in service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord will be revealed on his own to that person. So in that way. The Lord was invisible to others, but visible to King Prthu. Maharaj Prthu remained looking at the Lord until he had gone to Vaikuntha. So this is how. And then after Lord returned to his own abode, after Devatas returned to his own abode, after all the priests and all the assembled guests returned to their respective abodes, Prthu also returned to his own palace.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji,
Prabhuji is asking that when Lord Vishnu was there, everyone could see him.
that's what I was also confused. Prabhuji means only when the Lord appeared at the sacrifice of Prthu Maharaj, that time only Prthu Maharaj was able to see him, or others were also able to see him.
No. In addition to Prthu Maharaj, all devotees who are there assembled, especially the Brahmana priests and the great sages and all the devotee followers of Prthu Maharaj, they are all able to see the Lord. But now specifically in the last verse talks about when Lord Vishnu is returning on his way back to Vaikuntha, only Prthu Maharaj saw the Lord till the point he reached Vaikuntha. But till then he could see the Lord. Others could not see him.
Okay,
So
okay. Means he is reaching till Vaikuntha, that also Prthu Maharaj could see, but others were not able to see.
Yes. Even in the next chapter, next chapter, it will mention that generally the four Kumaras are invisible to people in general. Four Kumaras are invisible to people in general. But because Prthu Maharaj is a great devotee, by the association of Prthu Maharaj, everyone in the city could see four Kumaras who visited Prthu Maharaj. So it's like that. It's not like that. Because they are all associating Prthu Maharaj, they have taken shelter of Prthu Maharaj, and whatever is Prthu Maharaj, they will also get. They are entitled to get that. Four Kumaras means this only. Of course. Normally, why they want to be visible to people in general? If they have no business to be visible. Even here also they might be wandering. No, not like that. I'm just saying. Prabhupada would say. So something like that. So that was the previous chapter. So any questions?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, whatever we discussed in the last class, from there are a few questions and plus from the chapter. Like one thing we discussed last time was the concept of subtle body is different in Bhagavad Gita and is different in Bhagavatam. Like, so how we understand this? Like same thing, its subtle body will be the same. No, it will whatever it is.
So what is the difference according to you? What difference you found?
No, the difference means what is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. What we used to discuss is man, buddhi, ahankar. That consists of subtle body. But here we added out of 24 elements, only the Panchamahabhutas could delete karke baki whatever is there, that all was considered So in that man
Hmm.
buddhi ahankar bhi aa gaya, but there are certain additional things also like that, sense organs and sense objects and sense devatas and things like that. So means is
Yes,
it like
yes.
we say that means same thing we teach for first standard student at one level and 10th standard student at that level? Is it that difference or something else like?
Yes, yes, that difference only. Because at Bhagavad Gita level, we are not aware of 24 elements. But in the Bhagavatam, starting from second canto onwards, we hear about 24 elements, how they are manifested, what are their roles and responsibilities. So with that understanding, so we need to describe subtle body consisting of all these 14 senses and 10 pranas and etc. etc. So that is the difference.
Okay. Okay. And one more point was there, Prabhuji, we discussed that regarding the Lord not standing on the, not touching the ground, that there you also mentioned that Lord's expansions can touch the ground, but the Vishnu Tattvas and the Supreme Lord, they never touch the ground. So I was thinking like in this context, like how we understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when he appeared here in the land of Raja. He imprinted the land of Raja with his footprints all over for 11 years, like that. So, how we understand? Because one thing I know, because once Maharaj also had explained me that Raja may all equations are different only. No other general
See,
rules.
not like that, Mataji. Simple. Avatars are as good as human beings. But when Lord appears in order to give darshan, he will not touch. Even devatas come also, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, they also don't touch the ground. There are two different things. Lord appeared as Vamana, Lord appeared as Rama, Lord appeared as Krishna. They are part of human society. They behave like human beings. They don't have to, they don't display that superhuman behavior every now and then. Unless until it is required, they don't display. They behave like normal, ordinary living entities. But when avatars come, not avatars, when the Vishnu forms come just to give darshan, that time they remain intact as they are. So these two are different things. So Lord Krishna's footprint spreading all over Raja is like normal thing.
Normal thing.
No, I mean to say, you cannot apply the rule that Lord's lotus feet does not touch ground there. Just like
Okay.
our feet touches the ground, Lord Krishna's feet also touches the ground. It's like a simple normal thing.
Okay, so Lord comes when occasionally for some time, like Narsingadev or something.
Not
That
like
time,
that. When Lord appears to give darshan, to bless some devotee, when somebody performs tapasya to bless them, that time he does not touch.
okay,
When he
okay. So
appears as avatara, he takes birth like all of us among the human society. He will behave like a normal human being only.
otherwise people will know also na that he's something different, like his feet are not touching
Otherwise,
the ground.
there will be chaos. If Krishna will be always flying in the sky and other Gopa friends are walking on the road, they cannot make friends with Krishna.
Yeah,
The Gopas makes friends with Krishna only if Krishna is also one among the Gopas.
right. Yeah, to
It
facilitate
is
the
sim-
rasa. Yeah.
it is simple thing.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there are three few questions of this chapter on itself. It's
We'll
completed.
take at the end. We'll take at the end.
Okay, fine, fine.
We'll discuss. Any other questions based on what we discussed? Other devotees?
No
Okay.
problem. Thank you.
So in the 21st chapter, now actually previously Prthu Maharaj was always busy performing Ashwamedha yajnas, one after the other, 100 yajnas he was doing. His whole time and the people's time was fully in that. And now, since Lord gave some instructions to take care of the people like his own children, he is going to he is going to give a special instructions to the citizens for their benefit in this chapter. So that we will see uh, in this chapter. In the 21st chapter, King Prthu, decorated with all beauty, a notion of humility, gives instructions to the citizens during a great sacrifice. Of course, there is another sacrifice also, but that is not like Ashwamedha sacrifice, some general sacrifice where everyone gathered. In that gathering, Prthu Maharaj speaks for the benefit of people in general. So that is the subject matter of this chapter. And before going further, I have placed this verse in one of the verse commentary, but before starting, I will just like to indicate that in teachings of Lord Kapila, chapter 29, we discussed about devotee in the mode of ignorance, devotee in the mode of passion, devotee in the mode of goodness, and devotee in the mode of pure goodness. So we discussed, and Daksha was an example of a devotee in the mode of ignorance. I'll just read for your benefit the verse and the meaning of those verses so that we can relate to this chapter and the next chapter. Especially this chapter has a direct connection to the details mentioned in those verses in the 29th chapter. I think text number 789 or something like that. 29th. Okay. Verse number 8 talks about a devotee or a person in the mode of ignorance practices bhakti. Abhisandaya yo imsam dambam masaryamevava sambrahmi binnadruk bhavam mai kuryasa tamasa. It says that a angry person, sambrahmi, the natural position of a person in the mode of ignorance is anger. He is always angry. A angry person, devoid of compassion, okay, who worships me with intentions of violence, imsa, pride, damba, and hatred, mastaryam, is tamasic in his bhakti. Himsa, pride, and hatred. Himsa is not so much, but pride and hatred were there in the personality of Daksha. We clearly saw in him. So Daksha was an example of devotee in the mode of ignorance. Then the mode of passion. This is verse number 9. It says that Vishaya Nabhisandaya Yasha Aishwarya Mevava Archadav Archayed Yomam Prutak Bhavamsa Rajasa. It says that he who worships me with a desire for other objects, Vishayan, material sense objects, other than me, and also with goals of material gain, fame, or power as Rajasic Bhakti. Vishayan Abhisandaya Yasha Aishwaryam Evava. Those people in the mode of passion, they worship the Lord in order to get material benediction in the form of material objects and material fame, Yasha, and Aishwaryam, material power. Aishwarya stands for not only just wealth and also the power, the position and power, etc. etc. So people in the mode of passion worship the Lord for the fulfillment of these things. So Dhruva Maharaj was given an example of that. Dhruva Maharaj went to forest to get a kingdom which is greater than that of Brahma. That means to get a position, power greater than that of Brahma. That is Vishayan Abhisandaya, Yasha and Aishwaryam. All these things can be seen in the personality of Dhruva. So he was an example of devotee practicing in the mode of passion. But eventually, by following instructions of Narada Muni, by having darshan and touch of Lord Vishnu, his heart completely transformed. That is later on. But with what mentality they approach the Supreme Lord, that is indicated. Now, the person in the mode of goodness, what kind of bhakti they practice? Karma nirhara muddishya parasmimva tadarpanam yajed estvayam itiva prutak bhavaha satvikaya. He who worships me with a desire to destroy karma, making his works an offering to the Supreme Lord. Karma nirhara muddishya parasmimva tadarpanam. With the purpose of purifying one's own karmas, one performs all the karmas as an offering to Supreme Lord. Yat karoshi dashnasya jush tadashyat ettapashyat kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. So something like that. So this is the first kind of motive. The second motive is executing the worship as the duty. Ejed estvaya mitiva. Since the scriptures talk about worshipping Lord Vishnu as a matter of duty, one worships Lord Vishnu. This is second category of people who worship the Lord in the mode of goodness. And third category of people who worship the Lord in the mode of goodness are, they desire liberation. Prutak Bhavam. Those who want attain liberation. They are the people in the mode of goodness. And now, in this chapter, whatever instructions Prthu Maharaj will give to the people in his kingdom will be revolving around these three motives. In order to purify one's karmas, in order to perform bhakti, because it is mentioned in the scriptures, it's the duty of a human being, in order to attain liberation at the end. So liberation means not only just Sayuja Mukti, liberation, all 5 kinds of liberation, going to Vaikuntha, etc. So in that way.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Also comparison we can see from 3rd canto to 4th canto, and those things we can see this chapter and the next chapter. Next chapter 4 Kumar is also instructed Prthu and all the citizens. There also the theme revolves around the subject matter. Even the previous chapter also we saw Lord Vishnu also instructed Prthu, take care of the people, that is service to me. By taking care of the people very nicely, you will get 1/6 of their piety, otherwise you will get 1/6 of their sin, and they will get your piety. So all these things in one sense, because he appeared in order to display the Palana Shakti as a king in the mode of goodness, supposed to establish an ideal example of practicing Varnashram Dharma properly along with Bhakti. So his instructions also focus on that particular aspect. So in that way. Though at heart is Lord Vishnu himself is pure devotee, but in general, for the benefit of people, he speaks about Sattva-guna Bhakti, which is intended to purify one's karmas and inspire one to practice bhakti as a matter of duty and enable one to attain any of the 5 kinds of liberations. So that is the subject of these chapters. So in that way. So keep this in the background. Yes, Mataji.
You just mentioned about these verses now while explaining the devotee in the mode of like Daksha in the ignorance. So can you just from where which 8 number, 9 number you mentioned those verses? Those are from where?
Canto 3, chapter 29, text number 8, 9, 10, teachings of Lord Kapila.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Bhagavatam
Prabhu.
only. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, in the third one, mode of goodness, you said 3 things. One is, performing karma and offering to the Lord. Okay. The second one is you said ki as performing is a matter of duty. What is the difference between the two?
Second one is as a matter of duty.
Yeah. So what is the
First one
difference
is the
between the two?
purification of. The difference between the two is that. See, as part of Varnashram system, we need to perform our Varnashram duties. But while doing so, one may be attracted to the results of one's karmas.
Okay.
So in order to stay away from that danger of getting attracted to the results, one need to offer all the results, even the activities also to the Supreme Lord, so that one will be saved from all these difficulties of being bound afterwards.
It's different from Sakam. It is different from Sakama.
No, it is not Sakama. It is completely Nishkama Karma Yoga, and more than that is Karma Mishra Bhakti. From one point of view, we can say Sakama Karma Yoga and Nishkama Karma Yoga, but to be more precise, it is Karma Mishra Bhakti.
Okay.
They are devotees only, but they are also performing their Varnashram duties, especially as a householder. So they perform all their duties as offering to Supreme Lord, so that none of the results of none of the activities will bind them. As we see in the
but what is the second one as a matter of duty? What is the matter of duty when they perform? What is it then?
So matter of duty is a mentality. Even though there may be a lot of difficulties in executing these things, of course, here we are talking about the first line, especially talking about Varnashram duties. The second line, performing bhakti as a matter of duty. Bhakti means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasam, Sakim, Asam,
Okay.
Even executing these 9 things may be involving a lot of hardships.
Okay.
In spite of that, one performs them, accepting them as a matter of duty. I am a human being. I am supposed to practice bhakti. Since I am an Amsha of Lord Vishnu, that like that, the duty for the children is to take care of the parents. So the default duty which was given to the children is to take care of the parents.
So second one is perform pure devotional service. As in master of
See,
duty.
we are not talking about pure devotional service or normal devotional service. Generally, bhakti.
Okay.
Since we are an Amsha of the Supreme Lord, Mamaya Vansha Jiva Loka Jiva Bhut Sanatana, we are supposed to serve the Lord. Whether it is pure or contaminated, but we need to serve. Even though in spite of having a lot of difficulties, we should serve as a duty. So that is the understanding. So,
okay,
like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So first one in relation to karma, the duties in terms of varnashrama duties. The second one is bhakti activities only, but they should be performed diligently in spite of involving lot of hardships. And finally, the ultimate desire is to attain one of the 5 liberations. So in that way. And the fourth category of devotees are in the mode of pure goodness. So that is anyway, that is there. Saropya sarishti samupya maikatvam api uta diyamanam na grananti vina masevanam yata. So example is given that even the devotees are offered saropya, sarishti, salokya, sarupya and samipya. Then what to speak of sayuja? They will not accept if there is no opportunity for service to my lotus feet. So they are only interested in serving the Supreme Lord, whether in the middle world or spiritual, they are not, that is immaterial to them. So in that way, that is the nature of pure devotees. It is mentioned that Yada Gangamboso Mudau. Just like Ganga, no one can stop Ganga from going to the ocean. Ganga starts in the Himalayas and goes to the ocean. No one can stop, even by putting big bridges, no one can stop Ganga. Similarly, the mind of a devotee can never be stopped by any impediment in this middle world, going to the lotus feet of Supreme Lord. That is the nature of a devotee in the mode of pure goodness. So that's how the definition is given. So an example of that was shown in the 4th canto is the 10 Prachetas, Lord Shiva and Narada Muni. So they are the example of devotee in the mode of pure goodness. So that's how 4th canto gives examples of what is being mentioned in 3rd canto, so that we can understand what is what, who is who. So these are like different parameters to evaluate ourselves where we are. So in that way. So the previous chapter stated that King Prthu returned to his city. That city is described in 3 verses. The sentence continues from the last chapter. So he entered city, and what kind of city he had and what kind of reception he received when he entered his city. That is being described in the first 7 verses of this chapter. Maitreya Uvacha Muktikair Kusumasrubir Dukulai Swarna Toranai Maha Surabibir Dupair Manditam Tatra Tatra Vai.
The great sage Maitreya told Vidur, when the king entered his city, it was very beautifully decorated to receive him with pearls, flowers, garlands, beautiful cloth, and golden gates, and the entire city was perfumed with highly fragrant incense.
Yeah. So the city is described. The city was decorated with pearls, flowers, garland, cloth, golden arches, and fragrant incenses in various places. Chandana Guru Toyardra Ratya Chatvara Margavat Pushpakshata Falaistokmair Lajair Archibir Architam.
Fragrant waters distilled from sandalwood and aguru herb was sprinkled everywhere on the lanes, roads, and small parks throughout the city. And everywhere were decorations of unbroken fruits, flowers, wetted grains, varied minerals, and lamps, all presented as auspicious paraphernalia.
Yeah. Its roads and intersections were wet with sandalwood and agaru scent, and decorated with flowers, raw rice, fruit, barley shoots, papud rice, and lamps. So there are nice decorations. In order to receive Prthu, the entire city was decorated by all the citizens. Just like when Lord Krishna entered into Dwaraka after leaving Hastinapur in the first canto, all the Madura Dwaraka Vasis decorated the entire city very nicely. So here also same thing we see. Savrandai Kandali Stambai Pugapotai Pariskritam Taru Pallava Malapi Sarvata Samalankritam.
At the street crossings, there were bunches of fruits and flowers, as well as pillars of banana trees and betel nut branches. All these combined decorations everywhere looked very attractive.
Yeah. The city was decorated everywhere with banana stacks, including their fruits and flowers, with young betel trees and with strings of young leaves. Everything is like tender shoots, tender flowers, tender fruits, everything like newly blossomed grains, flowers, fruits. So this is how it is being used to welcome a famous personality in that way. Prajastam Deepa Balibi Sambraste na Mangalai Sambraste Sambrutasesha Mangalai Abhiyur Musta Kanyascha Mrusta Kundala Mandita.
As the king entered the gate of the city, all the citizens received him with many auspicious articles like lamps, flowers, and yogurt. The king was also received by many beautiful unmarried girls whose bodies were bedecked with various ornaments, especially with earrings which collided with one another.
The citizens and pure young girls, decorated with bright earrings, approached Prthu with lamps and many auspicious articles. They came to offer Artika to King Prthu with lamps and unlimited auspicious items like yogurt. Mrusta Kanya means young girls, thoroughly scrubbed. Mrusta Kundala means they were wearing dazzling cloth and ornaments as well as earrings. So just like in the previous verse, it is mentioned that including their fruits and flowers with young betel trees with strings of young leaves. So like that. So Sauranitai means fruits and flowers, newly blossomed fruits and flowers. And Pugapotai means young betel trees. Everything is tender. Same way, those who are welcoming King Prthu are also very young. Basically, the small girls came forward to receive Prthu by offering Aratika. Even on Brahmotsav festival also, before starting the procession, the small young girls were brought in front of the Lordship. They were offering Arati and dance performance and all. So this is the traditionally it's coming down. So in order to receive someone who is what you can say so famous, the young girls, small kids, they were brought in front and they will receive them. So in that way. Shankadundubi Goshena, Brahma Goshena, Chartijam, Vishesha Bhavanam Veera, Stuyamano Gatasmaya.
When the king entered the palace, conch shells and kettle drums were sounded. Priests chanted Vedic mantras, and professional reciters offered different prayers. But in spite of all this ceremony to welcome him, the king was not the least bit affected.
Hmm. To the sound of conches, drums, and the priests chanting Vedic mantras, the king praised, but not proud, entered the palace. Because Pruthu Maharaj receiving so wonderful, great reception, he is not proud of that. He is humble. This reception is not to me, but the king. And whose role I am playing. So something like that. So in that way. The king had no pride Though he saw that he had extraordinary wealth, the entire city is so opulent, his palace is also so opulent, he has so much power, all these things, but he was not at all proud of all these things. Even though he is receiving grand reception, he is not at all disturbed by that grand reception. That is his wonderful nature. Tuyamano gatasmaya, without any pride. Pujita pujayam asa, tatra tatra mahayasha, pauran janapadam stam tan, prita priyavaraprada.
Yeah, both the important citizens and the common citizens welcomed the king very heartily, and he also bestowed upon them their desired blessings.
So, after the girls received him by performing Artika, then Prthu also received and worshipped by all the other citizens. And that Prthu was very much pleased with all of them and giving desired blessings, worshipped the famous and common citizens here and there. Whosoever came to him in order to welcome Prthu by offering some gifts here and there, in reciprocation, Prthu also offered them gifts accordingly for everyone. He was worshipped by the citizens with present of gold coins, arge, and new cloth. Worshipping others means he took off his turban and jacket and gave them to others. They offered whatever best they have, and he offered in return whatever best he has. So, like Dadati Pratigranati, it's happening. And taking this, Prabhupada said that in the modern government, the leaders never want to meet the citizens. Even though the citizens wants to meet the leaders, but leaders will never want to meet the citizens because they have so much afraid of what will happen to them. But in the Vedic culture, the kings, the common people could meet the king and king could reciprocate with them. So there was no such barrier. So that is unfortunate situation like the Prabhupada writes in the purport. Saevamādīni anavadya cheshtita karmani bhūyāmshi mahan mahattama kurvan sashāvani mandalam yasha spītam nidāya ruruhe parampadam.
King Prthu was greater than the greatest soul and was therefore worshipable by everyone. He performed many glorious activities in ruling over the surface of the world and was always magnanimous. After achieving such great success and a reputation which spread throughout the universe, he at last obtained the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Prthu, the greatest among the great, Mahan Mahattama, performing faultless actions. So Prabhupada said that what are the faultless activities of a king? A king is supposed to perform yajna for the prosperity of the people in general and also provide suitable means of occupation. That Prthu did. If you remember, after milking the earth, providing sufficient food, and he leveled the earth so that people can have sufficient occupation. Among them, agriculture is the most important thing. So everyone had their occupation, then no one had any problem. They are prosperous, they are happy. That he did. These are the important activities of king. Faultless activities. Anavadya Cheshtita. From the beginning. And executing many rituals. Ruled the whole Bhumandala, Avani Mandalam. Achieving widespread fame, he then attained the Supreme Lord. Aruhe Parampadam. By taking care of the people very nicely, having performed 19 sacrifices, by allowing people to have a lot of prosperity, by allowing them to, by providing suitable facilities for their employment, by their daily sustenance, Prthu ruled very nicely and eventually attained Parampadam, journey back home back to Godhead. That's how King Prthu attained perfection and went back to Godhead by taking care of the people very nicely. Story is over. Mahan Mahattama means among the Mahattamas, consisting of Uttama, Madhyama, and Kanishta. He was Uttama. He is the highest class. So that's how Maitreya, in one sense, conclude the topic. So Prthu performed 9 yajnas. Lord Brahma came, stopped the 100th one. Lord Vishnu came, gave darshan, gave blessings. He offered blessings. He said, I want association of devotees. And he also told, follow my instructions. And Prthu followed the instructions. Finally, he went back to God. Story is over. But Vidura says, no, I want to hear in detail. How did he attend to spiritual world? And how did he took care of the people? These two things, a kind of interesting things, which Maitreya mentions in brief, which Vidura wants to hear in detail. That's how there's a question here. Suta uvacha tadajirajasya yashovim vijrumbitam gunair asheshair gunavassa bhajitam kshatta mahabhagavata sadaspate kausharavim praha granantamarchayan.
Sutta Goswami continued, O Shaunaka, leader of the great sages, after hearing Maitreya speak about the various activities of King Prthu, the original king who was fully qualified, glorified, and widely praised all over the world, Vidura, the great devotee, very submissively worshipped Maitreya Rishi and asked him the following questions.
Yeah. O Shaunaka, after worshipping Maitreya, who had described in detail the glories of King Prthu, adored by highly qualified persons, the great devotee Vidura then spoke. So basically, Vidura giving great high regard to Maitreya Muni, then he requested Maitreya to continue the narration. What exactly happened? How did Prthu attain perfection? Something like that. His glory was adorned by persons with good qualities. So something like that. So bhikshata pratur labda shesha surarhana bibrutsa vaishnavam tejo bahuyor yabhyam dudohagam.
Vidur said, My dear Brahmana Maitreya, it is very enlightening to understand that King Prthu was enthroned by the great sages and Brahmanas. All the demigods presented him with innumerable gifts, and he also expanded his influence upon personally receiving strength from Lord Vishnu. Thus, he greatly developed the earth.
Yeah, here he kind of gives a summary of what he heard till now. Enthroned by the Brahmanas, worshipped by numerous devatas, Prthu received Lord Vishnu's strength in his two arms, with which he milked the earth for providing food to the citizens. This was the summary of what was mentioned in the previous chapters. So Prabhupada says that a ruler should be like Prthu Maharaj. Every ruler should follow in the footsteps of Prthu Maharaj and should take care of the people in general as the representative of the Supreme Lord. Then the ruler and the people both will be benefited. So in that way. Konvasya kirtim na shrunota bijño yadvikramochishtamashesha bhupa loka sapalo upajivanti kamam advyapitanme vada karma shuddham.
Prthu Maharaj was so great in his activities and magnanimous in his method of ruling that all the kings and demigods on the various planets still follow in his footsteps. Who is there who will not try to hear about his glorious activities? I wish to hear more and more about Prthu Maharaj because his activities are so pious and auspicious.
What intelligent person? Kanu abhijna. Kono abhijna, basically. Ka nu abhijna. Which intelligent person will not hear King Pruthu's glories? Even now the devatas and the planets, Loka Sapala, the 14 Lokas and the Lokapalas maintain their lives with the desirable remnants produced by his valiant action. Describe his pure actions. If you remember in one chapter when Prthu Maharaj milked the earth, all other personalities keeping a calf, the best among their community, they obtained whatever they want from earth. That system Prthu established, and it will continue for the rest of time of maintenance. So throughout the day of Brahma, as long as the main creation is there, the same system will be continued. So because they are getting benefit by the system created by Prthu, even today or in the future also everyone will glorify Prthu. And who will not want to hear the wonderful activities such kind of Prthu? So please don't summarize. Please go in detail. Please speak in detail. So indirectly, Vidura is requesting Maitreya to speak in detail. Because of his actions, everyone received their desired items as milk by milking the earth. Everyone got whatever they want, whatever they needed for their sustenance. So please don't stop here. Please speak in detail. This was the request of Vidura. So for which Maitreya will continue the story of Prthu for 3 more chapters, 21, 22, 23. It's like that. So now, how you took care of the kingdom, that is being spoken in this chapter, and how we got the association of great devotees in the next chapter, how we went back to Godhead, that is the 23rd chapter. So all these things are mentioned. Ganga Yamuna Yor Nadyor Antara Kshetra Mavasan Arabdan Eva Babuje Bogan Punya Jihashaya.
The great saintly sage Maitreya told Vidura, "My dear Vidura, King Prthu lived in the tract of land between the two great rivers, Ganga and Yamuna. Because he was very opulent, it appeared that he was enjoying his destined fortune in order to diminish the results of his past pious activities."
Yeah. So Prthu Maharaj's capital was in between Ganga and Yamuna rivers. Living in the land between Ganga and Yamuna rivers, Prthu experienced enjoyment. Bogan Bubuje, thinking of it as karma for exhausting the results of his previous pious actions. Arabdan eva bubuje bogan punya jihashaya. Bogena punyam kushalena papam. This was mentioned in the case of Dhruva Maharaj. So same way, Prthu Maharaj also experienced unlimited prosperity. Thinking that let me exhaust my punya. So like that he enjoyed. That's what being mentioned. Maitreya speaks about the rule of Prthu Maharaja in 10 verses. 11 to 20 talks about the rule of Prthu Maharaj. The word matva means thinking in this way. Should be added. Matva, thinking in this way he enjoyed. Why? Though the avatar of the Lord and the Lord's devotees do not have prarabdha karma, karmas experienced in the present life, out of great humility arising from his great bhakti, he thought that he would experience his pious and impious karmas by experiencing happiness and distress in this life like a conditioned soul. Bogena punyam kushalena papam. So like a conditioned soul who has to go through punya and results of punya and papa, and he can completely exhaust punya and papa, so that after exhausting both punya and papa, one can go back to Godhead. So like that, he is only thinking like that. Matva, he is not actually, because he himself is avatara, he does not have any prarabdha karma. But thinking like one among all the other conditioned souls, he is experiencing punya's results and papa's results while living here. So that is what is indicated here. So with this mentality, King Prthu ruled over the entire kingdom very nicely, taking care of the people in general. And the primary, one important thing which we should see, as I mentioned at the beginning of this chapter, is he wants to facilitate people in his kingdom so that they will practice Sattva-guni Bhakti. So that is what we will come out, we will excel from this chapter. So performer of Bhakti in Sattva-guna is he who worships me with a desire to destroy karma, karma nirahara muddishya, making his works as an offering to Supreme Lord. So the first motive is one performs all one's varna and ashrama duties and offers all the results unto Supreme Lord, by which He does not want to be bound by the results of his karmas. So that is the first motive. The second motive is this person performs his varnashrama duties as well as bhakti as a matter of duty, not just to become freed from the karmic bondage. As a matter of duty, since he is a grostha, he will perform grostha duties. Since he is a vanaprastha, he will perform vanaprastha duties. And since he is a brahmana, he perform brahmana duties. Since he is a kshatriya, perform kshatriya duties. And as well, he also practices bhakti. So Mataji, previously I mentioned only bhakti activities now for this duty thing. We need to add varnashram duties also as well bhakti also. Both one performs as a matter of duty. So that is the proper understanding. And finally, having a desire for liberation. Such kind of person as Sattvic Bhakti. That Prthu Maharaj establishes so that the people can practice at least Sattvic Bhakti and attain entry into Vaikuntha. So we'll stop here with this verse. We'll continue from 12th verse onwards tomorrow.
Prabhuji, what is the Hare Krishna? What is the difference between Sattvic Bhakti and Shuddha Bhakti? Like Sattvic Bhakti has the desire for liberation, but Shuddha Bhakti will have only desire for pleasure of the Lord. Am I correct? Or
not pleasure of the Lord, desire for service to the lotus feet of the Lord. That service anyway will give pleasure to Supreme Lord. Vina Massevanam Jana. They don't want to accept anything other than the service to the Lord.
yeah, but the motive of service is pleasure of the Lord, no, ultimately.
Of course, that is there.
Means there will be also the finer differentiation that if the motive of service is, if the devotee is feeling great happiness in serving the Lord, that is at one level, and whether he is feeling happiness or not, but he wants Lord to feel happy, that is another.
At one level, as you mentioned, at one level, we want to be happy by serving the Lord and we want to see Lord being happy by our service. That is one level. And at least from the literal point of view of the reading of the verses is that they want to serve the Lord in a favorable condition. Anyabhilasha Shunyam Yanakarma Denavrutam Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. The Lord's pleasure is follow-up results. It will be followed up. But the devotee has only one desire, want to serve the Lord in a favorable attitude. Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. That is bhakti.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I mean, I'm not denying that happiness aspect. That is the what follow-up result. But the motive is to serve the Lord in a favorable attitude.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. We'll stop here.
Yeah.
Mataji, you shared some questions from yesterday's discussion, previous class.
Yeah, Prabhuji. I'll just ask one. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Other devotees can leave the. I mean, already 8 or 8:30. So we'll continue tomorrow afternoon 2 o'clock. Hare Krishna. Kanantara Ashtamid Bhavatam ki jai.
Prabhuji, this is from